Good morning. Welcome back to the channel. Found a guitar in a case. Show it off. I got it at the thrift store and I bought it because it's got really pretty sunburst finish and it's a Washburn. Anyway, it's got a little ding here right there in the fretboard. I'll put a little epoxy in there, fill the dent in, which is fine. But I'm looking at this this pick guard, and I took it apart. I took it off. I've got to pull the solder off of the other joints and get it out of the way. But look at it. It's painted all the way through the body, isn't it? It's beautiful. Anyway, it's got a maple fretboard, which isn't really a fretboard. When you look at it, you take it out and look at it. It's let it fall around a minute. It's basically looks like it's part of the neck. It doesn't really have a separate fretboard on it. So it's part of the neck. The frets are nice, and it's got a little bow here. I checked it by pressing the string down here and fretting it up here, and I noticed that there's a little space here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the old nut there and straighten it out if I need it. But when I set it up, I'll come to that. And I took this part down. I took a lot of parts off of it to get it open. I had to pull all the screws out and open up the back, and it's painted right through. A little sticky from where the price tag was, but it's very, very nice. It's got a tiny scratch here. You can see it right there. The scratch, I'll buff it out a little bit, but it seems like it's really nice, and the price was right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this guitar and let's get the cheap. Look at these pots. I've seen these pots bigger on transistor radios. These are really tiny, and the switch barely worked. So I'm going to try spraying it off with contact cleaner and see if I get it to work a little better. And this bridge was totally out of whack, so straighten that out a little bit just for the sense of getting it going. But I'm going to pull the ground wire out of it, off the back, and I'm going to take this board off because I want to replace this pickup with a double humbucker. I'm going to replace this with a double humbucker because it needs something. You know, it's a Washburn by Lion. Turn it over for you. See there? And oh, you had a bad machine head here, and I replaced it with one I had laying around. The fact is that this was dropped or something, and so it bent up that machine head. It wouldn't turn. I had to cut everything off, and I replaced it with that one just to get it going. But I'm going to try spraying these pots out, cleaning it up, and seeing what we could do with this. But I'm going to put this double humbucker. Let me get it. I got this double humbucker from another guitar that I was working on. I dropped it, bent the casing up a little, and I straightened out with pliers. But hopefully it'll work. And the problem is I have to cut this pick guard, so I want to remove it, and I wanted to, you know, really kind of put this pickup on an angle. I wanted to put it on an angle like the original pickup, but you can't because it'll hit right here. So I'm not going to grind that out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace it in here. See if it fits. Yeah, I don't even know if it fits. Let me see. There's a wire in the way. There's two wires in the way, of course. Let's see if this will even fit. Does it fit? Let's find out. Let's try it right-handed. Alright, let's put it down this way because apparently the wires will go that way with it. Let's see what we got here. Is this going to fit? So far, no good. Let's see if it fits. This is a wire coming out from the ground. It's under there. And this is going to be the pick. There, it fits. Yeah, that's why I can't place it on an angle. There's hardly enough room for it to fit in regular straight area. Let's see if we can put this pick guard over it where it's going to look set. That's kind of nasty. Wow, that's really screwed up. Let me see if I can move it back more. That screw's got to be with the right screw. One of these screws has got to fit somewhere. I think the bottom one's going to fit. We'll figure it out, but I might have to drill some holes. Get it in there right. I think, yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to fit at all. I'm going to have to really cut this pick guard away and really do some research on it to get it right. But I'll get it in there. Yeah, I think it's even with this one down here. This one doesn't matter. This one's way off, so I'm going to have to try to cozy it into this hole and then chop it around to make it fit, because the top hole would be too far off. Is this going to fit that way? I don't know. Well, we'll make it fit that way. Looks like it'll probably fit that way somehow. Yeah, it looks like it'll probably go that way. So I'm going to have to drill a little bit and cut this, but I'm thinking about cutting this with a some kind of hot knife, maybe. Trying to make it fast and smooth. I've got one of those razor knives in the house. I thought, well, if I heat the blade up with a torch or something, I can cut that out. But I'm going to have to try to briefly install it with one screw on the back to see where the settings are, or on the front, and I could just draw around it and dig into it. So I'm going to have to make a nice pattern here. But all in all, it's got a beautiful finish. Great sunburst finish on it. And it's got a maple neck, which I prefer for a change. I've got a lot of rosewood ones. It's got the fretboard that's maple. And they'll be a little smoother, nicer. All the frets are nice. They're not worn down at all. I think this was probably a kid's guitar. Somebody bought their kid a guitar. And they didn't take bad care of it, but they did drop it, and they didn't move the knobs for a while. And it's kind of stuck up, and I'll clean it out and I'll get it going with the cheap electronics. I'll probably replace this plug, get a few things going. I'll use these pickups, try to straighten them out a little so they sit evenly. They don't sit evenly at all. It's kind of thrown together thing, but for the money I paid, I'm not complaining. It's got a nice neck. The neck doesn't have any big problems except this little dent right here, probably from when it dropped and bent this machine head up. And I got a nice case with it, nice form-fitting case. So let's take it from there, and what I'm going to do is chop away at it and show you what I come up with for cutting it. Well, I found a double humbucker retaining ring in my junk box, and I drew a pattern here with a pencil for the other one without it, and it just it would hit the wood if I put it in that way using the old screw holes. But luckily I found this retaining ring. Now what I have to do is figure out where that retaining ring will sit on the pick guard. So what I have to do is measure twice and cut once, one of those deals. But I won't have to be real gracious about the way I cut this now. I just have to get it so it fits into this retainer, and I'll get a screw in each corner of the retainer, and of course, you know, the screws that go in here. But I have to figure out how it will sit above this area here. So it's going to take a lot of measuring and less cutting, because all I have to do is really cut the hole for that retainer now, that ring, and it won't be as hard as it would be to try to make one that looks like it has a ring. I have a ring, so it'll look good. But the only problem is this is the neck pickup that I took off of a double humbucker guitar, and it'll be backwards, but it'll still be better than it was. So I'm not going to worry about pulling the wires and straightening it out. I'm going to leave it as is. I'm going to leave it as just a double humbucker basically, and even though the screws are on the wrong side, it should be picking up quite well anyway, because it beats the heck out of this little plastic pickups that are in there. Went back to discuss the dilemma of repairing this guitar or upgrading it. here's what I'm up against. I've got this pick guard, and it fits over the cavity that I want to put the double humbucker. Now I don't want to buy another pick guard or try to fit something in, so I wanted to use this double humbucker. But how do I go about putting this in the cavity and then cutting it to fit? Now the screw holes that are there don't adhere to this one, because if I put the screw holes there and I cut into this thing, and it's not going to fit right because it's a whole different scenario. I got to make sure that every one of these matches every one of these pickups matches where the strings come out. So here's the problem. When I mount it, I want this guitar to look good. It's such a pretty guitar. So I took my other Telecaster and I fitted this this frame around it, and I slid it under the strings, and it was hitting the strings. So I'm gonna have a problem with that. So what I have to do with this, so that when the strings are on it, they don't hit this frame, I have to take this frame and I'm gonna have to sand it down to make it very thin. Now you see this is angled already for installation on different guitars. So what I'll do is I'll sand it down and get it thin, because I noticed on my other Strat I was able to put this on the pick guard without it hitting the strings on this narrow side. So what I'll do is I'll sand it down and make it evenly narrow, and that'll save some money from buying one. But I'm still wondering about how to do this. I have a million ideas. Actually thought of using double-sided tape to put on the pick guard and screw it down and make sure that it was right while this was in the cavity, and I could pick it up and it would be stuck to it. But this is very heavy and it might catch in there. It'll probably pull it off. So what I decided to do is, since I'm going to put a frame on it, the frame will cover a lot of problems, a lot of problem areas, and the frame also will guide the pickup up and down when I move it around. So I have to decide where to put this. Now I'm going to be able to cut the inside out. So what I'm thinking about doing is cutting this into a slot. Instead of just having a hole, I have a slot here, and I can move this back and forth. Now when I get that right, what I could do is make the decision on where to put it by installing it down there and finding the slot and finding where the screw will come up out of the pickup in that slot. So I'll put a slot on both ends, sand this down of course for the finished product, but I think it'll look better with this because I really want it to look good. It's such a pretty guitar. This is really a nice guitar as far as looks go. As far as electronics go and so forth, it's pretty cheap, and like I said, I still have to fix this dent here with some epoxy. What I want to do is get this low enough because it will look better with a frame. This is going to look good with a frame on it instead of just chopping a hole in the pick guard. But I'm going to try to get it with the frame, and the way I'm going to do that is, like I said, I'm going to draw this into a slot. Not just this one. I don't think this hole's even enough to go across. I think I'm going to have to go and find out exactly where it has to be, because what I'll have to do is line this up where it's going to be. It's going to be this way. I'll line this up where it's going to be with the bridge parts, and I'll move it over. And I see it's a little higher up here than that hole, so it'll probably be up there a little higher, and it'll be covered by the frame. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to take a drill after I decide where I'm going to put it. I can mark 2 spots on the top and then draw the slots, and I'll put slots in right here. I make this into a slotted area, and it doesn't matter about that because the frame will hold it in, but I'll get 4 screws for the corners of the frame and put that in. If the screws aren't black, I'll just paint them black. And I'll put that in, and when I do that and get it right, and get it where it's supposed to be, then I can have screws coming up through here, and this will give me an idea where this pickup's going to go. Because I can take the pickup, as long as this is slotted, I can take the pickup, put it in that cavity, and then the screws can protrude through. I can put them in upside down, and they'll protrude through where it's going to be. And when I have that idea figured out, then I know where the frame's going to go. Then what I'll do is I'll use the frame as a template. And I'll use that template to draw where I have to open it up on the pick guard in order for that pickup to protrude through. Then I can cut it using this as a template. I'll cut it, and I think that will cure my problems. But we're going to find out. So we're going to take a little time and do this right. But I've given it a day's thought, and I really decided the slot way is the way to go. Let's see how it works out. So here we are. I put the double humbucker into the cavity, and I put some screws upside down in there so they'd hit. And there's a close-up of where they hit. I zeroed in on it, and this is the other close-up of the other side. But what I did was I had to line up screw holes of where this comes in, try to get it right and try to line it up. So I've got a ballpark of where I got to drill. So I'm going to drill a couple holes and see where this comes up. I sanded the frame of this down very thin, but don't make the same mistake I did. Put some tape, some masking tape over the top finished edges so they won't scratch on the table or the paper or whatever you have there, because it happened to do that anyway, because I think it got some hot plastic on it and it's adhered to it. It doesn't look too bad, but I'll polish it up. It'll look okay. And I have to find some screws for the corners, and maybe we'll paint them if they're not black so it'll look a little better. And we'll get this done, but I'm going to take this pick guard back off, start disassembling things on it so I can get the pickup off it, the original pickup that is. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull that humbucker out, and I've got the drill ready, and I'm going to hit a couple holes in there. I tried the frame on it already to see where it would hit. It was a little off on the edge here. I tried to make up for that so it would be even, so it would look even. I want it even there on the edge, and then I'll pencil in a couple of marks for it where it's going to go, and then I'll just cut the area out with some way of cutting, and I haven't really thought about that yet enough. And I'll probably use a hot knife or something. Move back to work. Alright, I drilled some holes up here and down here in the ballpark. I made them a little bigger so the screws would fit in them. The bit wasn't that big. So I fastened it below it before I tried the frame, and it worked and seemed to fit in the slot, and I got an even space on top here. There. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pencil and I'm going to draw inside this frame, just the outline and the inside, and I'm going to cut that out. But I think this is the way to go. And if I have to make the holes or change anything, at least I'll have a start. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure it fits again. You know, they always say measure twice, cut once. That's going to be about it. But I'm going to cut the frame. I'm going to cut it inside it. I'm going to leave a little room. We'll see. I took the frame off just so I could pencil it in. It penciled in real good. Off a little bit, so I could always move it up or down. Next step is to cut it. Let's find out what happens. I'm thinking about taking one of those snap-off adjustable knives. I've got a metal one. It's not plastic. And I was thinking if I heated that, that would give me the ability to cut into this. And one way to find out. I'll cut inside first. I'll cut inside here a little bit and see how it works. And we'll see what we got. Just to show you our cutting process, how it's landing up. I took let's see what I did. Yeah, I took this snap-off blade, box cutter, and I heated it up with the old barbecue lighter, and I tested it. I took a little cut right here, and it seemed like it works fine, but it's going to take a long process. You probably need a small propane torch or butane torch to keep it hot. And you can go in it. It's pretty precise too. But what I'm going to do is I found this stencil cutter. That's a Hobby Lobby kind of thing from Plaid. And it's got this weird little tip. I don't know if you can see it here. See a tip? And I'm going to try it with that. I'm going to give it a little shot with that, see what we end up with. Let you see the results. So I've used the stencil cutter on this, and it left a rough cut. I tried putting the pickup in it. It's a little bit small, so it's got a lot of roughness around the edges and a lot of plastic hanging down. So it's about time I started using my Dremel on it. I'm going to use a Dremel with a rotary, little sander on it, and I'm going to try to knock that down and make it a little bigger. But I suggest one thing when you do this, if you do this, put a couple screws in so you know your place. And it's pretty close to the edge of the wood here, but not close enough. And I can make it bigger, but I think I did nail it as far as the measurements go. We'll see. We can't tell till it's done. We'll see. Use the Dremel with this little barrel type sander, and at the lowest speed, which is extremely fast. Anyway, it made short work of knocking that down. I tried to fit the pickup in upside down, and it fit right in there, so it'll work. It'll just look fine. It'll look good. I ground it down a couple times, but I've got a little white shadow in there. I'm not going to worry about it in the frame. It just kind of sticks out a little bit, but it's smooth enough. It's clean enough. I can knock it down probably with the emery board, make it a little better, but it looks like it's going to be nice. So let's take it from there. Just a quick glimpse of it after I got done putting everything in, and I didn't solder or anything. I just wanted to show you how it looked. It's not bad. It's not a bad looking setup. I put screws in to hold it in. I have to get corner screws for the whole thing. That way it'll allow me to move everything around. It looks like it lines up pretty good. Just hope it'll be under the strings. You can't really tell where you're going with this stuff sometimes. But anyway, it's going to be upgraded, and I believe I'm going to do a little more work on it. I'm going to spray the contacts with all these switches, and hopefully they'll work again. I'll probably change this plug. I think I've got a better one. And make sure all the grounds are right. I solder this pickup in and unsolder the original. Put all the screws back in. Fix the gash. And then we'll just string it up with some nice strings and play it. I'll set it up. I'm going to fix the neck and get everything right. But I think it came out pretty good physically as far as looks go. It's movable. It's going to be adjustable. I think I got this low enough. Sounds like cats are fighting out there. Anyway, I think it's going to come out nice. I'm going to play it and see if I like it. If I really like it, I'll put some better machine heads on it. But I'm hoping the electronics take and start working because they're really cheap. And I hope that I don't have any of the real good contact cleaner. I just have that industrial stuff. I don't have anything with a lubricant in it, so they're going to be a little rough. But that deoxit stuff's really good. I just can't afford it, and usually when I find it, I don't have the money to buy it. It's about 16 bucks plus tax. It's about a $20 value. But it doesn't last a long time with me doing a lot of these jobs. But I suggest it. I prefer it. And it's a really good product, but I don't have the ability to get any right now. I'm going to try to adjust these from the back and see if I can get these. They lay on an angle, and this is not good. So I'll see what I can do with that. But I just wanted to show you how it looked while it was installed. I think it came out real well. People say, oh, it's too close to the volume. Well, I don't use the volume much. I turn it on and play it. And that's that. But I think it'll be under the strings. I don't think it's going to hit. I ground this down really thin. It should be a nice sounding guitar. I really wanted a little a maple neck, and I wanted to put a double humbucker or something because I wanted a little more raunch to my guitar. I've already got a couple Strats that don't have a double humbucker, but I thought, well, this one could use it, and it might add to it. And it's from a Dean. This is actually a very good pickup. It's supposed to be the neck pickup, but it doesn't matter in this case. I'll show you how it comes out. Alright, here's where it stands. I didn't cut slots on each side for these screws, so this is kind of, look at it, it's kind of sitting, if you use this as a template to show where it's at, it's sitting at an angle. Although everything would work, I don't like that angle. What I want to do is, now I was pretty accurate in drilling these holes. Pretty accurate, not completely accurate. But it works, everything's right, it's just I don't like that evenness. So what I want to do is, I thought, well, I'll take the drill and I'll drill it out bigger. You know, maybe I wouldn't get the accuracy I wanted. So what I decided to do is, I get a nice little file that'll fit in there. I'm going to see if I can file it once I check for the area where it should be. The other thing I was going to talk about was, I've got this plug. I'm going to replace it. But I'm thinking about running 2 more wires in, and I can run them directly to this pickup with a switch. Now I don't want to run them directly to the pickup right away. And it'd be kind of like the Eddie Van Halen upgrade. I watched an interview with Eddie Van Halen recently, and he said that he ran a pickup in. He was the guy that started doing the double humbuckers and the fenders and the Strats and the telly kind of thing. And he built his own, you know, with the Frankenstein guitars. But I thought, you know, he used to plug directly in there, and then he'd take a voltage supply and he changed the voltage to his amp as a volume control. But he used tube amps. I only have solid state amps, which are probably a no-no. But I would like to try that direct. So what I'd like to do is, maybe after I see how it goes, maybe I'll put a switch in and have it go directly to the amp from this pickup. And of course the volume will be outrageously loud. But it's something to experiment with. But what I like is it's got the maple neck. I'm going to run to the store today. I'm going to get the epoxy for that. I'll probably show you how to do that. It's kind of finite, but it'll work out fine. Just wanted to show you where we at. But I'm going to do these holes with a file. I don't want to get carried away, so I'm going to file them a little into the side where it makes it even, and then I'll be able to put it back together. Of course, I want to do this first. This little dent. I got some strings to put on it. I'm going to spray the pots, of course. And we'll get that done. I'll show you where we're at next time I get going on this. I'm just going to snip the wires off this original pickup. I know where the wires go, so I'm going to take it off. And with this cheesy switch there, I'm just going to solder into it. I know it's way down in there, but I'll solder, because I don't want to take all this apart. You know, there's a little knob here. I got to pull the knobs and do all that. Now I'm gonna try to skip around that. So I'm gonna pull that pickup off, and I'm gonna solder in my double humbucker here, and I'm gonna place it in there. And I did end up with little slots here, so the slots will make it better. And then I put this on, and I checked the measurement, and it goes into this. And I don't think I'm gonna actually drill holes in it. I'm gonna just try to force it in. I'm gonna use a powered screwdriver a little bit, and I know it goes down about less than 1/16 of an inch into the probably basswood here. And I'm gonna hope that if I push hard enough, it'll pierce it, because they're wood screws. And then I hope the bridge clears it when I get that put together again. I think it will. Then I'll set it up. I'll get these sprayed with that cheesy little contact cleaner I've got, and I'll insert everything back in. I'm going to use this plug again because it's simple, and I'm going to clean it up and make sure it's bent right, and we'll get it going. I'm going to fix this little dent here with some epoxy I bought at the dollar store yesterday. And I'll put a little dab in there and clean it up. This is really smooth. This is super smooth. So it's probably varnished a lot. So when I finish it, I don't know if I can put clear on it. If I have clear nail polish, I could put over it. Defies logic, but it's probably the same as this. And I'll get it smoothed over. But that's what I'm trying to avoid, all this other work, because I want to do some of the right jobs on it and get it done right. But pretty soon we'll have a nice guitar, and it's going to have a frame on it, which is odd. And pretty soon I'll get it done. But I'm showing you what it's doing one at a time, and I'm going to try to get in there and solder it in there. Well, I finally installed it. I didn't put the 4 screws in the corners yet. That'll be probably the last thing I'll do, because I want to make sure that that frame fits under the strings and all. But looking at it from here, from a sitting distance, that thing's really beautiful. It's a beautiful guitar. Got to still do that work on the neck, on the fretboard, which I'm not worried about, but I want to get it right. Those pickups, it has to have a complete setup. I have to drive all the screws in on the pick guard, but it should work out good. But if you look at the wood and the nice double humbucker that's in there, it looks really nice. It's a good looking guitar, and that's what I was looking for. I was looking for a nice looking guitar, but I wanted that little bit of scruffiness. So I decided to put this little double humbucker in there. And we're going to find out how it sounds in a little while. Here's what I'm going to use to fill in that dent on the neck. I've got a super glue epoxy, which I got at the Dollar Tree store. And I've got the dent. And it's not real deep. I mean, it's your fingernail catches in it. So I'm worried it might catch on something when I'm playing it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up, mix a little drop of it, put it in there, smooth it over with the toothpick. I got flat toothpicks. I always recommend flat toothpicks if you can find them. And then use that, and we're going to run it over with this. If I have to, I'll use steel or something. This is a satin, not satin. This is like a varnish finish. It's really smooth and nice, but this is catchy. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'll fill it in. We'll see how it works out. Well, now I've got a fly on the guitar. Will that make it buzz? We're going to find out. Where did the fly go? Oh, he's walking right on my new pickup. Oh, I hope you don't go inside. It'll cause the buzz. There he goes. Oh, he's going to check out the next pickup. Oh, let's see how this fly does. He's checking out the finish. There he goes, checking out the bridge. I guess the guitar was due for a fly checkup. Where's he going now? Oh, no tremolo arm, yeah. I'm not going to put one on. How do you like those volume tone controls? Well, let's hope they don't buzz. Thank you, Mr. Fly. Okay, we epoxied it about 15 minutes ago. I ran over it with a little sandpaper. I got rid of the dent. Very minute now. You know, as an artist, you have to say when you're done. You could work on something for the rest of your life, and if you don't know you're done, you just keep working. Let me see. That's just a dark mark in the maple. Yeah, I can barely feel it now. So I'll be able to slide a string up and down it without worrying. That's very good. Sheba, you ready to see the new guitar? The guitar fixed up? Hey, look, here, look at. Hey, Sheba. Oh, there's a squirrel out there? Well, I guess it's not important. Anyway, here it is. It's finished. Now, I didn't buff it or anything, but it's got a beautiful finish. Looks great in the case. It's got a new machine head, new strings. The pickup is in. It's screwed down. The guitar is set up. It's nice. Don't think I'll keep it. It's not my cup of tea. It's got small frets. I realize playing this guitar that I like big frets. So I'll probably get rid of it. But whoever gets it's going to get a wonderful guitar. Let's take a peek at the other side of it. Let's put it down. Can we put it in a case like this? I think we can. Let's put it down like that. It's got this big emblem on here. What is that? That's some kind of a lion. And it's got a cover for the back. I put 3 springs on it. Tightened it up. Didn't make it for the old whammy bar. It's got Beautiful sunburst finish. Got a great neck. Let's play it and find out how it sounds. Alright, it's plugged in. It's in my little custom 30 watt amp, and I've got it on the front neck pickup. Alright, let's try the middle pickup. Well, let's try the second setting here. It'll be the two pickups. Alright, let's try the middle space, would be the middle pickup. It's pretty close, but let's try the big in and the middle one. A little brighter. Now let's go all the way and let's try the new pickup. Got little frets, so it's going to take a little while for me to get used to that if I really want to. It's real hard to get used to because when you're playing the frets, you don't even feel them. You don't feel that ledge. Now you see how it gets lower. I put it back up to the neck pickup. It's on the neck pickup now, and it's quieter. Now watch, we'll go from the neck pickup. It's brighter and louder right away. combination of the hot pickup and this first one. This guitar really is improved now. I like it. It's good when you plug it into an amp that has a little bit of balls to it, like this 30 watter. It genuinely makes you want to play. You can hear the differences in the pickups. You can go right to your hot one and get your Eddie Van Halen out of it. Yeah, if you play country, this definitely has that country sound that'll go with it. Well, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching us build up this guitar, get this double humbucker put in it and get it right. And everything worked out. It's a beautiful guitar. Beautiful. I'm glad I got it. Well, you have a wonderful day. Thanks for looking in.